I want to tell you a secret of where future technology is going. And this is what mankind will discover next. Right now we have AC generators. They have all sorts of moving parts, and they have commutators, stators, stuff that breaks down, stuff that creates friction. Now let's get to the invention, the discovery that mankind will make that I already know exists, that does work. That is a coil drive. This is a technology that's going to change the future forever, as far as you're going to talk about once this AC generator is created, it'll have no moving parts, and it's never going to break down.
With the introduction of vortex-based mathematics, you will be able to see how energy is expressing itself mathematically. Numbers are real and alive, not merely symbols for other things. You will discover that the relationships between numbers are not random or man-made, but that numbers are actually elementary particles of which everything is composed. This lost knowledge was well known to our ancients and is now being uncovered for us today. Mathematics as we know it today is only a tool to symbolize quantities. It simply and shamelessly helps the greedy king count his coins. Vortex-based mathematics is completely different because it is a dynamic math that shows you the relationships and thus the qualities of the numbers rather than the quantities. Gradually you will come to see numbers in a simple yet profoundly perfect three-dimensional matrix grid pattern that forms the shape of a torus. Essentially, vortex math is a form of sacred geometry that is three-dimensional in nature. Randy Powell, a student of Marco Rodin, says that this is the secret key to free energy, something which we all know Tesla was trying to master. Nikola Tesla did countless mysterious experiments, but he was a whole other mystery on his own. Almost all genius minds have a certain obsession. Nikola Tesla had a pretty big one. He would walk around the block repeatedly 3 times before entering a building. He would clean his plates with 18 napkins. He lived in hotel rooms, only with the number divisible by 3. He would make calculations about things in his immediate environment to make sure the result is divisible by 3, and base his choices upon the results. He would do everything in sets of 3. Some say he had OCD, and others say he was very superstitious. However, the truth is a lot deeper. If you only knew the magnificence of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you would have a key to the universe. Nikola Tesla. His obsession was not simply with numbers, but especially these numbers, 3, 6, and 9. However, he chose these numbers for a reason. Tesla claimed that these numbers were extremely important, and nobody listened. But why these numbers? What did Nikola Tesla try to make the world understand? Here's where things start to get a little bit strange. First, we must understand that we did not create math, we discovered it. It's the universal language and law. No matter where you are in the universe, 1 plus 2 will always equal to 3. Everything in the universe obeys this law. There are patterns that naturally occur in the universe, patterns we've discovered in life, galaxies, star formations, and almost all natural systems. Some of these patterns are the golden ratio and sacred geometry. One really important system that nature seems to obey is the power of 2 binary system. The power of 2 binary system, in which the pattern starts from 1 and continues by doubling the numbers. Cells and embryos develop following this sacred pattern: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and so on. Some call these patterns the blueprint of God. Math by this analogy would be God's thumbprint, leaving all religions aside. This is the template for the universe, and it is all within our base 10 decimal system. In Vortex Math, the science of torus anatomy, there is a pattern that repeats itself. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, and 5, and so on. As you can see, 3, 6, and 9 are not in this pattern. Scientist Marco Rodin believed these numbers represent a vector from the third and fourth dimension, which he calls a flux field. This field is supposed to be a higher dimensional energy that influences the energy circuit of the other 6 points. Let me explain. Let's start from 1. Doubled it is 2. 2 doubled is 4. 4 doubled is 8. 8 doubled is 16, which means 1 plus 6, that equals to 7. 16 doubled is 32, resulting in 3 plus 2, which equals 5. You could do 7 doubled if you'd like to which you would get 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5. 32 doubled is 64, resulting in a total of 1. If we continue, we will keep following the same pattern. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, and so on. As you could see, there is no mention of 3, 6, and 9. It's like they are beyond this pattern, free from it. However, there is something strange once you start doubling them. 3 doubled is 6. 6 doubled is 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. In this pattern, there is no mention of 9. It's like 9 is beyond, completely free from both patterns. But when you start doubling 9, it will always result in 9. Within vortex-based mathematics, numbers are not symbols that stand for something else. Numbers are real and alive. But what exactly does that mean, you ask? Well, Marco Rodin's final conclusion was that all intelligence comes from a person's name. This led him to understand that not only do our personal names and the language they are spoken in highly affect our personalities, but that the most important names are the names of God. This led Marco into a journey of thoroughly studying all the world's great religions. When he was introduced to the Baha'i faith, he immediately became a believer. Literally days later, Marco decided to take the most great name of Baha'u'llah, prophet of the Baha'i faith, which is Abba, and convert into numbers. He did this in an effort to discover the true precise mystical intonation of the most great name of God. Since the Baha'i sacred scripture was originally written in Persian and Arabic, Marco used the Abjad numerical notation system for this letter-to-number translation. This was a sacred system of allocating a unique numerical value to each letter of the 27 letters of the alphabet so that secret quantum mechanics, physics, could be encoded into words. What Marco discovered was that A equals 1, B equals 2, H equals 5, A equals 1. Add all these numbers together and you get 9. The fact that the most great name of God equaled 9 seemed very important to him, as everything he had read in both the Baha'i scriptures and other religious texts spoke of 9 being the omnipotent number. So next he drew out a circle with a 9 at the top and 1 through 8 around the circle clockwise. Then he discovered a very intriguing number system within the circle. Marco then knew he had stumbled upon something very profound. This circle with its hidden number sequence was a symbol of enlightenment. This is the mathematical fingerprint of God. Follow along as the amazing properties of this symbol unveil themselves to you. Put your pencil on the number 1, and without picking up your pencil, move your pencil in a straight line to number 2, then to number 4, then across the center to the number 8. Notice that you are doubling, so next should be 16, and it is, but 1 plus 6 equals 7. So move your pencil to 7. Then 16 doubled is 32, but 3 plus 2 equals 5. So move your pencil to 5. Then 32 doubled is 64. and 6 plus 4 equals 10, and 1 plus 0 equals 1. And now you're back at 1, so move the pencil across to the center and back up to 1. Notice the infinity symbol has formed underneath your pencil, creating an ever-repeating pattern of 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Amazingly, this number sequence stays intact as you have numbers as well. This is called the symbol of enlightenment. We find lots of evidence that nature uses threefold and sixfold symmetry. These shapes are in nature, and the ancients emulated these shapes in the building of their sacred architecture. Interestingly, 64 is one complete cycle of infinity in the Mayan calendar. Then it begins again with 64 doubled, which is 128, and 1 plus 2 plus 8 equals 11. Then 1 plus 1 equals 2, and so on. You will never get off this track as you keep doubling. At this point, some of you might be thinking, what in the world do these number patterns have to do with the real-world applications? These number groupings piece together into a jigsaw-like puzzle pattern that perfectly demonstrates the way energy flows. Our base 10 decimal system is not man-made, rather it is created by this flow of energy. Amazingly, after 20 years of working with this symbol and collaborating with engineers and scientists, Marco Rodin discovered that the 124875 was a doubling circuit for a very efficient electrical coil. There was still one more very important number pattern to be realized on the mathematical fingerprint of God. Notice how the 3, 9, and 6 are in red and does not connect at the base. That is because it is a vector. The 124875 is the third dimension, while the oscillation between 3 and 6 demonstrates the fourth dimension, which is the higher dimensional magnet field of an electrical coil. The 3, 9, and 6 will always occur together, with the 9 as the control. In fact, the yin and yang is not a duality, but rather a trinity. This is because the 3 and 6 represent each side of the yin and yang, and the 9 is the S-curve between them. Everything is based on thirds. We think that the universe is based in dualities because we see the effects and not the cause. When I say the oscillation between the 3 and 6, what I mean is that 3 doubled is 6, and 6 doubled is 12. But 1 plus 2 equals 3, and then 12 doubled is 24, but 2 plus 4 equals 6, and 24 doubled is 48, but 4 plus 8 equals 12, and 1 plus 2 equals 3. So the 3 and 6 go back and forth in their own separate dimension. This creates the other important pattern of 396, 69, 339. Now lay out the number patterns on a 2D grid. Place the 39669 number pattern in the center of the 124875 number pattern going forward, and the 124875 number pattern going backwards. This continuation creates an amazingly perfect number map. The mathematical fingerprint of God is a legend or blueprint for the torus that can be visualized in a 2D form as seen on the screen. The 2D number map forms the 3D skin of the torus and thus demonstrates the concept of the winding of the coil, and the 9 demonstrates the omni-dimension, which is the higher dimensional flux emanation called spirit that always occurs in the center of the magnetic field lines. The number grid reveals the collaboration and timing for an engine that could take us throughout the universe and solve mankind's energy needs. This map truly explains everything that ever was, is, and ever will be in the universe, perfectly with no emissions. As Russell Blake, a senior researcher from Microsoft, has said of Marco's work, this fantastic coherence has existed since the beginning of time, but yet to be harnessed by mankind, and the potential is truly mind-boggling. The last number left to be explained from the mathematical fingerprint of God is the number 9. The number 9 is energy being manifested in a single moment event of occurrence in our physical world of creation. It is unique because it is the focal center by being the only number identifying with the vertical upright axis. It is the singularity, or the primal point of unity. The number 9 never changes and is linear. For example, all multiples of 9 equal 9. 9 times 1 equals 9. 9 times 2 equals 18. But 1 plus 8 equals 9. 9 times 3 equals 27. But 2 plus 7 equals 9. This is because it is emanating in a straight line from the center of mass out of the nucleus of every atom and from out of the singularity of a black hole. It is complete, revealing perfection, and has no parity because it always equals itself. The number 9 is the missing particle in the universe, known as dark matter. The number 9 lines up with the center of the infinity symbol, and it is from this center that the linear emanations we call spirit emanate from, the center of mass outwards. Spirit is the only thing in the universe that moves in a straight line. Spirit is the inertia, ether that Einstein postulated. Spirit is what makes everything else warp and curve around it. The perfect number patterns are actually created by this spirit energy. Without spirit, the universe would become destitute and void. Spirit flow is the source of all movement, as well as the source of the non-decaying spin of the electron. Numbers have temporal, spatial, and volumetric qualities. For example, physics is the base 10 number system. In other words, numbers have bilateral or mirror symmetry and line up in stratified layers of horizontal planes. This is the same as physics parity. There are 9 simple multiplication series, one series for each discrete number, 1 through 9, in vortex-based mathematics. These multiplication series are based upon reducing all products to single digits via horizontal addition, forming meaningful number sequences. There are 3 polar number pairs, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, and 4 and 5. For example, multiples of 4 are 1 times 4 equals 4, 2 times 4 equals 8, 3 times 4 equals 12, but 1 plus 2 equals 3, 4 times 4 equals 16, but 1 plus 6 equals 7, 5 times 4 equals 20, but 2 plus 0 equals 2, 6 times 4 equals 24, but 2 plus 4 equals 6, 7 times 4 equals 28, but 2 plus 8 equals 10, and 1 plus 0 equals 1, 8 times 4 equals 32, but 3 plus 2 equals 5, 9 times 4 equals 36, but 3 plus 6 equals 9. So multiples of 4 equal 4, 8, 3, 7, 2, 6, 1, 5. And multiples of 5, the polar opposite of 4, are 5, 1, 6, 2, 7, 3, 8, 4. Each pair forms number sequences that are identical, but in opposing directions. So if you take multiples of 5 and look at them running backwards, they are the same as the multiples of 4 running forwards. In exactly the same way, the multiplication series of the polar pair 1 through 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, for the number 1 and the number 8 respectively. The multiplication series for the polar pair 2 through 7, 2, 4, 6, 8, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 7, 5, 3, 1, 8, 6, 4, 2. Everything is starting from the center outwards, from the singularity. Nature is expressing herself with numbers. The symmetry of our decimal system is a principle of nature. The 9-axis causes the doubling circuit, and it is the point towards which matter converges, and away from which it diverges, or expands. Thus the polar number pairs will be mirror images of each other, both flowing in opposite directions from the central axis. There is perfect symmetry wrapped around a single point, coiling outwards, the same way petals are wrapped in a rose, or a nautilus shell spirals outwards. Let's say there are 2 opposites, Call them light and dark if you like. They are like the north and south poles of a magnet. One side is 1, 2, and 4, while the other side is 8, 7, and 5. Just like in electricity, everything in the universe is a stream between these two polar sides. Like a swinging pendulum. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. And if you could imagine the movement as something like the symbol for infinity. However, these two sides are governed by 3 and 6. 3 governs 1, 2, and 4, while 6 governs 8, 7, and 5. And if you look at the pattern closely, it gets even more interesting. 1 and 2 equals 3, 2 and 4 equals 6, 4 and 8 equals 12, but 1 plus 2 equals 3, 8 and 7 equals 6, 7 and 5 equals 3, 5 and 1 equals 6, 1 and 2 equals 3. The same pattern on a higher scale is actually 3, 6, 3, 6, 3, 6. But even these two sides, 3 and 6, are governed by 9, which shows something spectacular. Looking closely at the pattern of 3 and 6, you realize that 3 and 6 equals 9, 6 and 3 equals 9. Add all the numbers together and it will still equal 9, both ways, excluding and including 3 and 6. So 9 means unity of both sides. 9 is the universe itself, the vibration, the energy, and the frequency. 3, 6, and 9. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Nikola Tesla. There is a deeper philosophical truth in this. Just imagine what we can accomplish if we learn and apply this sacred knowledge in everyday science. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. Nikola Tesla.